welcome to the Facial Recognition Podcast. I am Fizaa.
I'm Pallavi.
I'm Zahra Ali.
And our guest today is comedian, tarot expert, and paranormal investigator, Karen Rontowski.
Hello. That's a lot of things to say.
Welcome.
Thank you.
We're happy to have you.
Really excited to have you.
Yeah, we've been wanting to have you for a while because in our first podcast, we had like a really fun discussion about our own belief systems. And we were like, we need somebody outside to come in and shake this up.
You got it, ladies.
Yeah.
I want to know, why did you name your podcast Facial Recognition?
It's based on our show. So it's a show, it's a bunch of Indian women who everyone confuses as all for each other. And it's,
and Pakistani.
and Pakistani, South Asian.
And Middle Eastern.
And Middle
Basically,
Eastern, yeah.
all of us who often get confused for each other or mistaken for each other or get put in the same bucket in Hollywood.
We're not the same person,
interesting.
essentially. Is the-
Yeah.
That's our hashtag. We are not the same person.
So
Good.
the show came first, and then the podcast came after, and we kept the same name because it's us.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that. It's weird because I'll get to it later.
Can you tell us a little bit about your background? Because you have, you're pulling from all these different worlds with comedy and your tarot card reading and your paranormal investigation. Can you tell us how you got into each of them and where you are now?
Sure. Actually, I want to say with the paranormal and the investigation and stuff, that's something I've been into since I was a little kid, and I've had I had many experiences when I was younger. And
You did?
I did.
Oh, we have to talk about that.
Yeah.
We're going to.
Many experiences, and then getting into comedy. I think comedians are born. I do not think they're made. I think we sort of that it was always what I wanted to do. And then I went to college, and I couldn't stand that.
What'd you major in?
Communications with a specialization in graphic arts.
Okay.
Never.
You're like the ultimate communicator.
Yeah, never came near it, never went near it. And I became a cigarette girl in Las Vegas. I went from Massachusetts to Las Vegas, and I met a bellman who did comedy, and he introduced me to comedy.
Yeah.
Then I moved to San Diego, and
Wait, is a cigarette girl just someone who sells cigarettes? Or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
walk around. It's very, they're not there now, but we used to walk around with a big case of cigarettes and go in little skimpy outfits. And
Similar to the drink
drinks.
girls
Yeah.
now. Yeah,
Okay.
the servers and stuff at the casinos.
And I made so much money. I don't know where that is now. And I worked at Caesar's Palace, and then I went to San Diego when comedy was in its boom, and just was at the comedy store, and just I had the best beginning of a career. I had a full room to try out 7 nights a week.
Oh,
That's
what?
amazing.
Yeah.
So what room were you?
It was the
your
La
home
Jolla
club?
Comedy Store.
Wow.
And then I would bartend if I didn't have I would bartend when I didn't have work, and then I would also work at the Improv, and I would do sets there. So I had literally the
They
best.
had an improv in San Diego.
Oh
at
my
that
God!
time,
It
too?
was the most amazing improv.
So the scene was in San Diego instead of LA?
I think the scene was everywhere, though. That was the
Okay.
80s. So
Okay.
everything was
Big
going
boom.
on.
Yeah.
But I had that city wired. And whenever I was not on the road, I'd go, who needs a waitress? And they'd give me work. And it was just fabulous. And that was kind of where I got into tarot. I had many psychic experiences, but I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm psychic. And I went to this reader who ended up being my teacher, and she said, you need to get a deck. And sort of what happened with tarot was, I thought, if I learn every single thing about these cards, if I know every symbol, every color, I'll be able to put this together and do what she does.
Yeah.
And so I kind of started this real methodical memorization thing. And I believe it actually turned into intuition, it kicked the whole thing in. So I'm actually, for your science end, I'm such a student of where they came from, why they're drawn like that, how they're connected to psychology and Jung and his, archetypes. And it's really quite a...
You mean the cards themselves, how they're
the
connected?
deck. Yeah.
It's so funny that when you said that, the way, because you said earlier that comedians are born, not made. And I was like, oh no, because I'm trying to make myself into one. But then when you approached tarot, you're like, I need to study this as though it's like, and that reminded me of comedy and like how I'm trying to absorb everything.
Oh, that's
so
funny.
It's funny that you had that.
But don't you think that either that somewhere this, and I put comedy and anarchy in the same spot?
Yep.
Yeah.
Somewhere that was always you. George Carlin had the greatest joke ever where the crowd was going nuts and he goes, "You don't love me." And they go, we love you. And he goes, "No, you don't." And he goes, "If this whole world was destroyed and there were 7 people left, there would be he goes, there'll be another guy after me no matter what I do. If the whole world is destroyed and there's 7 people left, there's always going to be one of me going, that's not right." And I thought, that's who we are. We're just the people that go, that's not right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or this is the not right thing that I think you
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stand up for our truth.
So that's what you think a comedian is. And so in that way, I believe that like comedians are born because I think all of us are kind of like that devil's advocate person.
Question the
Right.
status quo.
Although, I guess I'm thinking I've been thinking a lot about like my quality of comedy.
Yeah.
So that's something that I'm insecure about right now. So I think that's like the practice and the absorption that you're talking, but it's like that kernel that you're saying.
Well, I kind of skipped over that part, but as a comedian, I studied writing. That was another thing
Right.
where I said I was very stiff on stage and I was very afraid. And I thought I have to learn to write because if I can write, everything else will fall into place. And that's what it was. But, even now I feel like I'm still learning in comedy. You're never done. There's always homework, which was the one thing I said. I never want a job with homework, but there's always homework and you're always evolving as who you are too.
How many years has it been?
I was
doing
24 and I'm going to be 52 in August. So that's, is it 25?
28?
Wait,
28?
yeah.
26?
What?
It's been
20.
50
Oh my
years.
God, I did that.
I've been,
First of all, kudos for being honest about your age in Hollywood as a woman.
Yeah, look at,
That's
you see the
inspiring.
gray?
Amazing.
I don't care too. The gray
That's
is there.
great.
Yeah.
That's role model status.
Thanks.
No, but you look great. Have you
thanks.
subscribed to the whole Botox?
No,
and
I'm not
stuff?
against plastic surgery,
Okay.
but I got nothing going on right now. But
Or you have it going on, which is why you don't have any
well,
Botox
thank
going
you.
on.
It's been. I've had some friends sit me down and talk to me about the white hair. So I
Whatever.
I know.
I mean, like, I kind of wanted to dye my hair white now, but then people were like, if it doesn't work with your complexion, and I was like,
Yeah,
fine.
somebody's got. But I actually
can have white hair.
I can have whatever hair I want.
If I wanted a different color, I have this washout henna, and I have a good time with it. But right now, I just kind of like not, itchy scalp from dyeing or whatever. I'm just kind of cool with what's going on right now.
Cool.
That's the best way to be.
Yeah.
It's the easiest.
Not that I'd be against plastic surgery or facelift if I had the money, but right now it's just kind of I'm happy here. So
That's great.
I hope I didn't lose my status as
No.
No.
Wait, as
totally
just kidding, as role model in
No, but you
I'm just-
absolutely are. Because like the second I saw you perform, like we didn't talk much before you performed. We did a show together. That's how we met. I just was like instantly like just
She
felt
doesn't
connected.
care. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I felt like I got you.
Oh, well,
Like I
thank you.
understood. So
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I just really appreciate you for who you are.
That was a great night.
Yeah.
That was a great night. And
All
kudos
women
to
show.
you too, my friend.
Thank
it's
you.
the Mutual
That's
Love
awesome.
Fest.
Oh, cool.
Oh, that's
Thank
awesome.
you.
This was at Flappers?
No, this
where
was
was this?
In a condo in on Magnolia Boulevard. It was Michelle. It was
Baldonado.
yes, in
okay.
her. She put up a room like in her condo.
That's cool.
It was very cool. It was
Do
very
it
nice.
DIY.
Yeah,
It's one of those like condo living room shows
Yeah,
that we have.
yeah.
Cool.
Or
Cool.
it was like the rec room in the condo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got
So
it.
you've been doing comedy for 28 years because we did the math, and then you've been interested in paranormal investigations and tarot cards since you were a kid.
Ever. Yes.
What is your family like? What is like your background in that?
I actually feel like religiously, my parents had a really good thing in that my father was agnostic and my mother was Catholic. And my father said, "You're not raising anyone Catholic." And my mom went to the Catholic priest who said, "You know what you should do." And then she went to the Methodist minister who gave her all these papers and was like, "Well, this is what we believe. We'd love to have you. No big deal. Stop by." And so we became Methodist. And it was this really kind of laid back, like
Laid back.
it's not, it was, there was Bible study and stuff, but I feel like other people, religion changed them, and there's this heavy anchor. And I'm like, I remember it was fun. That's all I remember.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So, okay, wait. So I'm like the worst at knowing other religions. So I know Catholicism, I know there's a stereotype of like guilt and like, kind of intensity. So Methodist was like an option that your mom was like totally willing to just like,
Oh, yeah.
change.
She found it very, I feel like the Methodist Church I went to, because it always depends also on the minister, was a lot like what the Unitarian Church is now.
Oh.
Like it
I don't
was
know anything. What is this?
inclusive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was inclusive. I remember being very, very young, and a friend of ours became a minister, and she was gay. And this was a long time
that's
ago.
dope.
And I'm from Massachusetts, which Massachusetts is lefter than California. Like, I remember a few years ago, my parents were so angry because they signed a petition that was to get gay marriage on the ballot,
ballot.
and they had not realized that gay marriage had been legal there for years, and it was the Republicans trying to get it undone, and it had already. And they were like, "Oh, why did we listen to that?" Well, you know what I mean?
Wow.
So Massachusetts is really. Boston gets a little red, but
What did your parents do?
my mom was a stay-at-home mom, and then eventually went to work for a bank, or she made wedding cakes at home. She'd sell wedding cakes. And my dad was a draftsman, so he worked for GE, General Electric.
Were they open-minded when you brought up the paranormal and metaphysical stuff in childhood?
Somewhat, because it's very interesting. They were not like, oh, I meet a lot of mediums who are like, yes, and my mother had the gift and blah, 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 which, by the way, we never say gift. It's not a gift. I know it's always, it's
A burden?
It's a, all right, I'm going to jump topics. Not a burden at all.
Yeah.
I do a lot of, I do ayahuasca. And you're sort of communing with this spirit, and you're getting messages, and they're not like angels. And it's kind of like this woman that's like, listen, this is it. And she goes,
Karen, I need you to listen to me about. She's just like this New York,
to the
Boston
point.
lady who's like,
yes. And she goes, don't ever say you have a gift. And it was kind of like, I hate it when people do that. She goes, you do not have a gift, because that means you're separating yourself from others. You have a focus, and that is where you focused.
Yes,
You
I
know?
love
Okay.
that.
Yeah. Like, because somebody will say, well, why can't my plumber do psychic work? Well, for the same reason I can't do your plumbing. I didn't focus on
so you
it.
see it as a skill.
It's a skill.
Got it.
I absolutely believe it's a skill that anyone can learn.
I went to
believe that.
I went to the Magic Castle. I still don't believe that, but I appreciate the approach. I think so. I went to the Magic Castle, and my friends and we all went together, and there was a guy doing close-up magic, and at one point, and he was very serious, because that's part of it, is like their demeanor really adds to the humor of the situation. And there's one lady who saw the illusion happen, and she was like, "Oh my God, it really is magic!"
Oh my God.
And he was like, yeah, this isn't a skill we've perfected over years. Like, he just like cut her down.
Yeah,
And I was like, that's bomb.
Yeah, that's
Because it's so it's kind of destructive to like the work that you put into it.
right. And my I traveled all over on that question. Actually, both my parents' families had experiences. So they weren't psychics and they weren't mediums. They were neither here nor there, but they had, like on my father's side, every time someone dies, a clock stops. At the moment they die. Or his father had a heart attack and fell and knocked the clock off, and the only thing that was left was the face that had the time on it.
How many generations was this recorded for?
This was probably from back before they were in New York, which was great-grandparents.
Man, we don't even know our great-grandparents' names.
I know.
There's like no record of that.
Yeah, and but my grandmother, just give me an elbow when you want me to shut up.
No.
His mother was born in the Depression, and she was very beautiful. She was the only two of 13 kids that lived. Yeah.
Whoa.
And
What happened?
Just
The time.
the time, and she was very beautiful. Except her mother kept telling her the one before her was more beautiful. They wished that one had lived. So
Okay.
the wonderfulness starts.
This happens
like-
across all cultures for all women.
I gotta call my mom and tell her I appreciate her.
I know.
There's always a prettier sister.
Yes, and she. I almost feel like everything starts there. Like she. Well, no, this is just a creepy story. It's not a ghost story. Do you want a creepy story?
Yeah.
It's pretty creepy.
We got plenty of comedy creepy stories.
Oh, okay. In those days, when there was a wake, they used to have the wake in the home, and they'd strap the body to ice, and
That's how they
everybody
do
would
in
have
India.
their party. Yeah, and then they'd leave, and they'd leave her home alone with the bodies. Well,
Your grandmother?
my grandmother. Well, one of the her uncle that died sitting up. So rigor mortis had set in. So as the summer melted the ice, the body sat up and
Oh,
looked
my
at her.
goodness.
How
I know.
long? Oh my god.
I know.
Jeez.
So she had a lot of mental issues, but her side of the family, or it was my grandfather's side that had more of that going on. So the
Yeah.
Rontowski side, sort of the Polish Russian side.
Experiences, supernatural.
Yes, a lot of them. The clock
metaphysical.
thing. I can't remember. There was the clock thing was the biggest one I remember with them. My mother's side, they would always have what they would call death is at your door, where when someone was sick in the house, there'd be a knock on the door. They'd go down, answer the door. No one there. The person had passed. And that had happened quite a few times.
Whoa.
And they were from Austria. So
Wait, how was that recorded? Sorry.
stories.
so the
just stories.
the
Yeah.
person who answered the door would die later.
No.
No,
Someone
no
was
one would
sick.
answer the door. It would
Someone
just
was
be a
sick, and they
ghost.
would get a knock on the door, and they'd say, "Go get the door." And then they'd open the door. They go, "No one's here." Then they'd go back upstairs, and the person that was sick had
Oh,
passed
so it
away.
was like
Yeah.
another person.
Right.
I see.
So we
Yeah.
have oddities.
Yeah, so you've grown up in an environment where this is accepted as stuff that happens.
Right.
Whereas-
It wasn't no. It was all right. Whatever.
See, if I brought that up, it would probably freak my parents out. And I
Right.
think they'd change subjects. Just don't pay attention to that. They're very uncomfortable.
yeah, well, a lot
so-
of people, it's very scary to them.
Yeah.
And
It is scary.
Yeah.
You know, I've
Ghosts
had,
are scary.
Yeah.
well, see, I've had experiences with, you look at Pallavi's face.
No, because she said ghosts are scary, and I was like, so for me,
I've had, okay, so I was saying I have
Go ahead.
experience with non-physical entities, and I've all the time.
Yeah.
That's good.
this is my face. This is just how my face
Well, this
is.
is the whole box. So, to me, I've set a boundary. I'm very clear
Yeah.
about. Seriously, I'm very
Ghosts, I'm taking the night off. I'll see you tomorrow.
No,
I'm
you're
always
right.
open.
You're right.
I don't right now. I don't want visual. I don't want a vision. I don't want one to pop up and audio stuff. I can take like stuff that sort of
Hear that, boys?
downloads.
clairaudient, clairsentient.
Hear,
Yeah.
hear
You don't
that,
wanna see
boys?
them.
No dick pics, okay? No visions.
No, but you're
even
right.
touch anything. I think sort of, and that I'm not ready for it. I don't. That's a little too much.
I used to read all sorts of when I was a kid, I read all sorts of ghost stories and stuff. I'm always interested in that as an entertainment option. You know what I mean? I always got and that's one reason that I don't really like scary movies right now is there are a few that I want to see, but a lot of them don't scare me because it's shock or whatever. But the creepy ghost thing and the psychological stuff is that. I mean,
The suspension,
that's an adrenaline
of
rush.
disbelief,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
it's thrilling.
Yeah.
But
And
I
it's
understand.
it's the unknown,
Yeah.
which makes it even more interesting.
So the way, so I'm just going to dive into it, but the way that I look at it is that I look at all of these experiences that can't be explained through vision or hearing or whatever as neurological things that happen, because I do neuroscience. And that to me, I'm we don't know so much about the brain. I look at it in the same way as the unknown, but it's scientific method based. You know what I mean?
I'm okay with that. In fact, if you went on a ghost investigation, most of these people are, in fact, for my podcast, I'm interviewing a police officer. There are many people in the scientific field. I say this if you have time, there's my demonologist friend, the lady I'm talking to this week has studied religions and dead religions, and they are museum restorated. They're not ooh, I'm going out ghost. They're very highly educated people.
But I feel you can be highly educated and still not explore these things using a provable like scientific method. Like I read not enough, but I read a bunch today about studies that were published in like journals of psychology, the British Psychology Journal, and all of those things, and all of them disproved this.
But that's what you were looking for.
No. I was looking at like I was trying to look at it as like a scientific analysis of this. I wasn't looking at like, because there was one study that really upset the psychology world. It was by, where is it? It's by Daryl Bem, and it was published, I don't know if that was 2005 or 2010, but it was like 10 years of 2,200 subjects, and he found, it was like ESP studies, so like testing before and after, like recall of words and stuff. And he found conclusive evidence that there was ESP, but then later that rocked the psychology world because they were like, oh, there are all these inconsistencies in his studies, and he threw away data that mattered. And then because of that, that completely changed how the scientific method was applied to psychology and social studies. And all of these other articles came out that were like, this thing that we thought was science isn't science because of how the thing is processed. So that's my thing, is that
It was officially disproved.
and then he
Officially.
tried to, so it's kind of like honestly like sweet. He like he believed in it a lot, and so he's been trying to replicate it, and they failed to replicate it another time, and there are 2 more studies that are continuing. But
I think
so for me, it's all about like using the scientific method, which is a way of like replicating and using logic to prove that these things exist or don't exist, and applying it to whatever. Because I think, like shit's going to happen that we have no idea. Like we're going to be like, oh, that's not real. And then it's going to happen. But as long as it's proved by the method, then I'm like totally fine.
But see, I think there's also a value to experiential knowledge instead of physical knowledge. And the scientific method is sort of, it's a great method. It makes sense. But I think it stops short right now. I mean, it's always going to expand. It's a method. It's not like a body of information. It's a living document.
I think the information will expand. But like to me, like facts are facts, and those are proven by that.
Right.
So
You know what I mean?
It's unknown then still if you don't, but
it's been disproved. You know what I mean? Like,
well, wait a minute, but
all of these haven't.
But you can't. Right, but I can disprove that there's not a ghost in here, but that doesn't mean there's not a ghost in here. Do you know what I mean?
So there was actually.
you don't have the technology to. You don't have the technology
And I can
to test
simplify
this stuff.
this for you.
That's the issue.
Yeah, but you can say that
Because-
about anything because,
Right.
so you can say that about like literally anything, and I think that's honestly this riles me up a little bit because this is one of the reasons that I think our country is in the state it is, because if you can make claims about anything, or you can put information out there that misleads people in any way and just be like, well, you can't prove it, or like, well, we have this other article about it. But I think there needs to be some rigor in exploring it. But I found this article that was like this argument that somebody had. It was on like a skeptic's website.
That a brain has, that mediums and psychics have a
this
different
is-
part of their brain developed?
No, this is a different one.
Oh, okay.
It's just how the function in the frontal lobe works.
Right, in the pineal gland.
I don't know if it was that actually, but I don't know. But
The pineal gland, that's the third eye, right? Pineal.
Yeah.
That's the
it's
third eye.
I always say
The
pineal,
third
but
eye is a
yeah.
real thing.
Yeah.
It's like a scientific. What? It's a real thing.
Yeah.
Well, that's the
Okay.
association, because this is all
Yeah.
based on energy work. So this is, again, like I said, I think science hasn't reached that point where it's very, I mean, with quantum physics, it's a little different now. They're starting to accept and expand
But, like-
since that.
Well, you know
But the
what,
thing
though?
to me is like, if science hasn't reached it, why do we have the arrogance to say that our experiences are better than it?
No,
Well,
I mean,
I
but
would
who
tell you
says
why.
that?
And I'm
Because
sorry, I don't mean to say
oh,
that
that's
you were
great.
like that,
No,
but that's like to me, like everything falls under that.
But
method.
it's also easy for me to say, okay, and I'll put it to you this way. I don't know that particular study, but believe me, I know many psychologists that believe in psychic abilities and ghosts. Are they going to say that at a convention with a whole bunch of psychologists? No, they are not. Also, they
But what
you know, do you so you believe there's absolutely no cure for cancer?
No, I believe that that's not true. People have
But
used,
wait, but the facts here in America have told us there's no cure for cancer, and
no,
you
there
have
are
to get
studies
chemo.
that use the HIV virus to help reverse leukemia effects in children.
Right, and that's here in the United States?
I think that was
No,
here.
then it's not. Then I don't believe you.
I don't know.
There's no cure for cancer. See how I twisted that? That's exactly what
No,
I
I
feel like
I can
it's
look
done
up
to
the
this.
data though. Like there's clinical studies.
I can go to Kaiser and they'll tell me there are not.
But I think my issue here is being told that my experience is invalid when I know for a fact it's valid to me. So to have a method that doesn't have the technology to gauge the validity of what I'm experiencing, it's like, okay, that's what I want to hear.
If you have, if you have the science behind it.
Yeah, let's talk about this technology.
So the most common evidence, and I'm going to say this, we know a teensy bit about the other world. But one of the best pieces of evidence you can get is called the EVP, electronic voice phenomenon. So we go to a haunted area and you and I sit and we turn on a tape recorder and we have a conversation, and we have a conversation as though we're talking to a spirit. And we say, hey, what's your name? Or, is this your house? Or something like that. And we hear nothing. And we go home and you listen to that tape again, and clearly there is an answer. You and I were the only one in the. It is a verbal answer. No, it is a voice. It can be it's like another human being was sitting with us and said, "My name is Harry," and that is how we do. That's the easiest evidence to get when you go investigating. Now, the other thing that's interesting about that is it lays differently on the tape. Okay. So in other words, you have a digital recording. For some reason, that voice lays differently on the tape than you and I talking. And sometimes when you play that tape backwards, it says the same thing. Okay. So if it says, my name is Harry, we can sometimes play that tape backwards, and you and I will be backwards, and it will still say, hi, my name is Harry. It's almost like crazy like that.
So I just looked it up real quick.
Electronic voice phenomenon?
Yeah, and it says that there are, so I can understand how these explanations can be tossed aside or whatever, but a lot of people, Brian Regal in Pseudoscience, a Critical Encyclopedia, 2009, said a case can be made for the idea that it's an artifact of the recording process. There are natural explanations, such as static, the human brain to recognize patterns in random stimuli, and people haven't been able to replicate it in controlled situations.
Nope. It's a voice.
But that's, I mean, I understand.
Sometimes you can get bad EVPs, which that might be, which is called matrixing, which happens with a lot of pictures where people matrix and put it together. But you and I in a haunted cave, we're not getting radio waves, and this voice says I have had someone say Rontowski on a recording,
and this is her experience.
Yeah. So
no. This is a piece
with physical evidence. Yeah.
So I just want to make it clear that the reason that I bring up this perspective is just because that's what my belief system is based upon. I think that if you have an experience that comforts you, that brings you happiness, that whatever it may be, as long as it doesn't hurt other people, I don't give a shit. I watch TV shows that I know aren't real. I have all these other things that connect me to people and have relationships with them and bring me joy that aren't real. I have my own superstitions about using hand sanitizer at certain times and using some medications at certain times that I know that aren't scientifically based, but they bring me comfort. I'm okay with that.
Well, also,
the only time
you wouldn't be okay with this because it would scare the shit out of you.
It wouldn't though.
No, it would.
No, because I
No, it would.
No, it wouldn't.
I kind of want to take her to one of these caves and see what happens.
No,
to her.
I totally.
Pallavi.
I would 100% have an adrenaline rush, but after I had the adrenaline rush, I'd be like, yeah, whatever.
So what do you think it is? You think it's just a portion of your brain going nuts?
Can I finish the thought on that? The only times that I have an issue with it is when people use this belief system to with organized religion or whatever to either hurt or exploit other people. So part of me, I have a chip on my shoulder.
That's a manipulation unrelated to.
But part of me, I have a chip on my shoulder about this, just letting you know my perspective for when people charge money for it and stuff, right? Because I'm well, that's not real, but also simultaneously, I go pay for a movie and that's entertainment. But if people,
I don't understand the situation where people are being ripped off to pay money.
Charging money for an exorcism or something?
Yeah,
service
or
card reading. It's an energy exchange. If someone provides a service, I think compensation is due.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I think it's fine if it's for entertainment or whatever. But I'm using this as this is my belief across a lot of
Can I
different
ask you a
things.
question?
Can I just finish this
Okay.
thing? So like with the mediums and the tarot cards and stuff, that's like, I don't care about that. That's fine. But I've seen like with like evangelical religions, for example, they like tend to exploit people's like money, like older people's money and stuff. So like that's when beliefs affect people's lives that way in like such a large and negative way, then I have an issue with it.
Well, yeah, live and let live unless you
Exactly.
are
Right.
fucking
Nobody
someone
needs
else.
to rip
But
off
my
anyone.
question was, do you think there's a dogmatic approach to science where
I do think that there are times when scientists cling to beliefs because of the value that it would bring their lab or the value it would bring their research at the expense of good science.
And I have to make an announcement about if you have a something in your house that is bothering your children or breaking things or throwing them around, which I have seen, or you need an exorcism, which I have not seen, you and anyone charges you for help with any of that, you have the wrong people.
Oh,
My paranormal team will only work for free.
Oh, that's cool.
If there is an issue. If we are working at a historic site and it's for fun, there'll be an admission fee. But if you really have a problem, help is free.
That's good.
Yeah.
That makes me feel a lot better about it.
so you think it's like more of a service?
Oh, yeah.
Pro bono.
But it's not something that, listen, belief or not belief, when someone has something in their house and something's really, really wrong and it usually goes after the kids first. If your kid is being terrorized, that is not a service that only rich people should be able to have.
Yeah,
know?
absolutely.
Wait, are you saying universal paranormal care for everyone?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
It's just like also, it's not
They have better
accepted.
universal care in Canada.
Science is not looking at this stuff, so there are real people having real
Right.
issues that are just devastating.
And you need to know who you ask because somebody might come in and go, you guys have demons, which is ridiculous. Sometimes it's a little of nothing.
The access to resources is so slim, so it's just, I mean, it's really truly selfless work to go and.
Wait, I want to say that scientists are looking at it. That's what all the articles I read were.
Yeah, but they're a little bit behind. They need to catch up. You know, like let's get the.
Yeah, when you look at the Rhine
That's not at all.
or there's somebody you want to look at named Lloyd Arbuckle, what you realize is everything that we're talking about with ghosts has to do with vibration and vibration only. So when I'm talking to you about EVPs, about
Quantum
then
physics.
all of a sudden there's
Things of vibration.
No, I know what vibrations are, but I mean what like range or like what like. Can you be more specific about the type of vibration?
I can give you 2 examples, but I want to tell you my favorite about. So we go out and we get EVPs. They're very. They're not hard to get, but to get a real class
They
A.
sell them on Amazon. Like, could I buy one if I wanted
Oh,
to?
an EVP? Oh,
Yeah.
go look at tapes. Put an EVP on.
I've even heard that stuff. It's
Okay.
it's like ghost recordings.
All right.
It's usually sometimes when you watch Ghost Adventures or a TV show, you'll hear probably what it's supposed to be like. They're probably not that they're real ghost hunters, but a TV show has to end how it's supposed to end. So I don't know what's real and what's fake on there. But there's I just did an investigation in the Portland tunnels in the underground tunnels there, and I'm interviewing a guy here, and between us there is a person screaming, "Please help me," and there's nobody else there, and it's clear as a bell. Now, these are sometimes what the person was saying where they're static, or someone might say, "You're picking up a radio station," or it's not clear enough. That's why you always want to ask a question that has a long answer or something like that. But I have friends of mine or a group in Cleveland, and they have someone in their group that does not have a voice box, and he talks like this. And what happens is when these entities, they don't have voice boxes, they don't have voices. It's very hard for them to come through. They ride on our vibrations. So a lot of times, like we have a tape where I said to my friend something about that's over there. She is on the tape and someone making fun of her, mimicking her voice is talking over her. So she is on that twice. Like there's no way that could happen. And she didn't say what is being said over her. So when this guy puts out this vibration with no voice, there's 100, you can hear the EVPs because they can ride on his vibration and use their voice. Did that make sense?
So yeah, they don't have the physiological capabilities, the voice box to speak in the physical world,
but they can ride on a vibration,
and somehow that is that solidifies with the tape.
Yes,
it's caught on tape.
Yes, yeah, and
It's so cool. I'm so
I wanted
amazed
to
right
ask
now.
Zahra. if you could share your experience about the ghost dreams that you had.
Oh, well, I don't know how much of this is just me like missing my grandparents in my dreams, but I could swear like, you know, when I wake up from these dreams, I can kind of like feel them or like hear things, or, you know, like like a group of my cousins will be at these reunions and we'll just start talking about our grandparents, and we can just kind of feel the aura in the room, or like, you know, like someone wakes up in the middle of the night and could swear they hear them or something like that. So I don't know, like my family has a long history of like sharing ghost stories and sharing these experiences.
So you're
too.
open to it, yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely open to it. And I could swear that I've like felt them in the room or like heard whisperings or something, you know.
If you're more open to it, it's easier to perceive that.
I guess.
I feel like that's a catch-22, though. It's like the people who are skeptical and critical, you're like, but you're not open enough. It's like being good at, it's like falling asleep for Santa Claus to come.
Unless you have an extreme case where like somehow you get possessed. It's like, I mean, that's also a choice, I think, to choose to believe that as well.
Well, and you can block me. You can say, I don't want her tarot reading to be right, and block me.
Yeah,
and
it's an energetic
magic.
I feel like that's like an excuse, though. That's why it's not right, is because you were skeptical from the start. And then the people who believe you still believe you.
But this is sort of energy work. So if you have a very sort of closed, shut off blockage, then how are you able to receive that?
Well, and
I'm
also
like willing to read shit. I'm willing to like learn shit. Like people send me articles about astrology and stuff.
Day. Well, don't.
But like,
you know what? You can read it all day. Your experience, I would say I get it. She would say she doesn't. That's how it is. You know, that's what it's going to be. But there's other things. I lost my train of thought there.
I don't mean to be
combative.
Combative. That's a joke that we have, that I'm combative, and Zahra likes to party.
I have seen combative. You're not combative.
Cool. And I don't mean like I'm not like trying to say that you're like not intelligent or that you don't like whatever.
I'm not worried.
I know people connect to different things.
I was doing a reading for someone, and he wanted a reading about his career. And I said, there's new management coming in your career. It is a woman. She is blonde. The way you will connect with her is that she has a child the same age as yours, and you will begin by talking about children, okay? And he looked at me and said, so tarot's really vague, huh? And I was like, I don't know what else you want from me, because I was like, I don't think that's vague.
Did
so
it work?
Everything's I just did that a while ago, so I don't know if he's met her yet or what. But
he's looking for all these blonde bitches.
Whatever, yeah. But so perception is the biggest.
See, that's I think what these articles are saying is that people perceive it as something when it's like not provable, and whereas I perceive it as nothing. So it's like we're the different sides of the same thing.
And I think there's ways to perceive things beyond the five senses, and I think that's where science falls short at this point.
But
because there are extrasensory. I think there is sort of like a sort of a shift at a global level.
Yeah.
We're all
Did you ever read the study where all the Buddhists got together and wanted to send good energy to Washington, D.C., and they had this huge meditative
Tell me that wasn't in 2016.
Stage? No, it wasn't.
They should do that now.
Literally the crime numbers dropped on the day that they did that. But an interesting one, and this is why I say you would freak out and then you would change. When we go into a situation, first of all, when someone says their house is haunted, you have to debunk everything. I mean, I have literally seen someone talk about a smoke rising, and a friend of mine went in and checked, and the refrigerator, he knew how a refrigerator ran, and he was like, you're leaking Freon or something like that.
So you are a plumber.
Oh. So we go in and we want to make sure before we start any hocus pocus that this is not... I will tell you 90% of the time it's something else, but there's that 10% where it's like, okay, these people really need help. But I have been, and this is exactly, I have been with a friend of mine. We were on an investigation, and someone had what we call a walk-in. Okay, not a possession, a walk-in, where a spirit literally walks in the body, and you're talking to a different person. And
wait, how is that different than a possession?
Like
because a possession is is demonic, and it's a whole takeover, and they sort of own it. A walk-in, which would be a regular spirit, does not have the energy to hold that very long.
It's a weak ass possession.
It's a weak ass possession.
You can't even possess me right.
Temporary.
And he got
that weak possession.
It's a possession with good boundaries. boundaries.
Right,
That's what
right,
it is. Like,
right.
It's
With
just
somewhat
visiting.
boundaries.
It's just visiting.
And we saw this, okay? And he was sitting next to the guy that literally, it's like, it would be like if she started talking to you, you're like she's a pirate, and you're like, oh, stop it. And you can see her getting angry, like she really wants to hurt you. And she knows, she might even be like, I don't know what's going on, I can't get it out. Switching back and forth, voice, accent, whatever. He's sitting next to me and he sees this and he freaks out. And there's something that you have to do. You have to clear the room. You have to get the person off the premises. It's like a big deal. And then the investigation is over because now it has turned hostile. Okay? So he's literally shaking. The next day I get a call from him. I was thinking about it. And I don't think that really happened because, they might know somebody, or maybe they did know that person even the day. He had it all figured out how it didn't happen. And I was, you know what I mean? Like by the time he couldn't comprehend what happened. So he literally changed what happened to fit his reality.
But I do think that like when you have I get scared in movies. I know it's not real. Like you have an adrenaline rush, like
because there's a temporary suspension of disbelief. Whereas
Right.
this is life, This is
No, but I think that happens in life too. Like you get scared, you get pranked. Like things happen in real life that aren't like that. You later are like, oh, that's what happened.
we
Or
alter
even
it
in
to
like
cope.
communication. I do think that people do are known to change their memories of things. So I'm not saying that that's not right.
Well, I loved how you brought up the debunking portion because there is a method. There is a scientific method used there, and it's just I think it's sad that it is dismissed, and I think there's some intention behind that because people who are less empowered are easier to control.
But
I said it.
But I think I don't like you saying that the scientific method is applied because replication is important, and all of these studies have said that it's not.
I understand that, but I think it's just because sometimes
So I want to keep them separate.
Yeah, but she's also saying that 90% of the time it is something else. So they go through every other.
I'm not saying that she doesn't have a method.
Okay,
I'm saying that it's
not
different.
scientific.
But you're also,
but although some people have tried, it just hasn't been proven through them.
Right.
I have a bunch of questions for you.
Okay.
I'm tired of arguing. You've taken all the combativeness out of me. I want to know what you think are the difference between so you said possession versus
a walk-in.
Walk-in appointment. And then also an aura versus ghosts. What's the difference between that?
Okay. Well, an aura that's an actual
energy.
You got some science on that. You can look up that. That's simply the energy that you put out. Your little own that has to do with you.
So that's
your
real
aura.
people.
That's real people.
And
that's
ghosts
not
are
really,
like dead people.
That's like if you stand here, I can. You know what I mean?
Like Reiki
get close
stuff?
enough. Yeah. Reiki's a little different. Aura is your energy.
I'm taking so many notes, you guys.
I know. Your aura is your energy.
What do you think my energy is, other than combative?
I don't read auras, but, no, it's
Annoying.
She's like, there's a dark sense here.
That's a very hard question because your aura changes with your mood.
It's like mood rings.
Right.
Got it. Had those
Correct.
as a kid.
And
Okay.
it's just an energy that you put out that is
Metaphysical mood
measurable
rings.
by science. That's
Do
not a
ghosts have auras as well, or are they just ghosts?
Well, they are their aura, maybe.
They're very. You're asking me a huge question, and I'll tell you why. People think
Because I'm ignorant as fuck about this.
People think there's ghosts and there's demons, and what they don't
Are
understand.
Are they not the
different
same?
They're not even close.
Demons seem like bad ghosts.
Right. Demons would be ghosts.
There's different non-physical entities.
I know, but
There's
I want to know
many.
the different. Okay, and then so there's spirits.
So a ghost
demons,
is a
ghosts.
human. Is a human that is passed over.
What
It's
happens
it's
to
just like us.
animals?
Animals are actually animals are a whole different. Animals are so far above us, it's ridiculous. That's a whole nother. You got to ask me about that in the next podcast.
I used
You
to.
gotta
my
come
best
back.
friend's an animal
I'm
communicator.
actually really interested in this because I used to read when I was a little kid. I had this book about animals sensing ghosts and stuff, and I was I love animals, and I was always like, yeah, they know shit.
Well, there's a camera that they use called an all SPECT camera that gets different sees way more than we can see. You use that in ghost hunting. Its shape or the way it works is the same way as a cat's eye is shaped. Cat's eye is shaped differently to see more than we do on the color spectrum. So they do see more. But my best friend is an animal communicator, and she will call me and say, I swear this is my little dog. I changed his food, and she will call me, and she lives in Florida. and say, Courage says there used to be little squares in his dish, and now there are little triangles, and he's not going to eat the triangles. And sure enough, I'll go out the dog that eats anything.
Snitch-ass dog.
Oh, my God, you can't believe what he does.
Karen, I want to be in your community.
Oh, my God.
These
Wait,
are
wait.
people.
Demonologists and mediums.
I have another question.
Awesome. Wait, hold on. Wait,
So
ghosts, demons. What are
Spirits. Demons are bad ghosts, right?
Well, no,
they evil
ghosts
ghosts?
are human. Demons are different entities, different. It's a whole different range.
Hell. So,
Yeah.
So, well, I guess question.
But not really hell, but
Is
Yeah.
not my belief.
With reincarnation, is it a choice to stay disembodied as a ghost in this sort of time-space reality? Or
sometimes.
Okay.
This is the little that we know. It's like people always go, well, if they're ghosts, why don't they come and show them us? Because we don't. Why don't they just come stand here? We don't know. It takes a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Okay. There are some that can go and come back, like your grandmother, and there are some that are stuck. Or
They're stuck in the
they
in-between?
don't know they're dead.
Is there an in-between?
Yeah.
Like Harry Potter, like the Hogwarts ghosts.
I'm not a Harry Potter.
Wait, I have two. Okay, I have two questions.
Okay.
One, are there like factions within the medium community that are like, is it like alt-right versus the left? Like, are there people that are like, oh, you got this all wrong? And like, are there like people who are like racist and stuff? Like, are there just different
yes.
like factions within it? So like, are there people who believe, like, I know like a lot of the justification for like slavery and stuff, other than it was economical, was that people believe like black people didn't have souls and shit like that. Are there people like that within the spirit community that are like only white people have souls? Or
Conservative bigots?
Yeah, conservative bigots that are like,
No, I
you know what I mean?
think so, but it was really weird because I used to hang around with this medium, and then all of a sudden she started throwing around the N-word, and I was like, what? And I was
that
like,
better be a
really?
walk-in, bitch.
I know. I was like, really, Miss Love and Light is all of a sudden using racial slurs, and I never spoke to her again. But
we have to understand we're all human, so that's the thing, is because we have that access, it's always going to be filtered through something.
Right.
But
even
is it
as
like
media.
is it like
variation.
political? Because like science can get political.
Well, just like I don't think it's mutually exclusive. Like someone can have this focus and still be a like quote unquote shitty person. I have a specific belief about good and bad, being subjective.
Yeah, the way you're asking, like, do some people believe in this and others don't believe in that? Yeah, there's some change, but it's not a big. It's not a big, I believe in different things there. I know you're going to laugh, but fairies and elves are different names for different types of entities that are out there, or elemental spirits.
And a fairy or elf, they would have more of a capability or energy ability to manifest in the physical. How does that work?
Maybe not. They have a different agenda.
Okay.
What's their
They have a different agenda. Well, an elemental spirit would be someone that is they are only convinced with the earth and the environment, and they do not like us. We are building on their stuff.
We're out colonizing
That's a
shit.
fairy and an elf.
A fairy. I know this is sort of a big agenda, but fairy. Those would be called elemental spirits, which are not quite fairies. You can, in other words, let me explain it to you this way: if you have things moving around your house,
Venn diagram.
Yes.
Of all this. Okay.
There are so many variations of what it could be. You could have one thing people shouldn't do is take sand or parts of other. You shouldn't go to Iraq and grab something and bring it here. You might bring something with you.
Really?
I'm amazed that you
It's
guys
same
never
rules
heard
as
of a Jinn.
immigration and customs.
Yeah.
Same rules. Same rules apply to the spirit world.
Topical.
I'm amazed you've never
Where
heard
are
of
your
a
papers?
Jinn.
Of what?
I've heard of a
Jinn?
Jinn.
I've heard of that.
So many Jinn stories.
Because we were raised Muslims, so that's
a lot of Jinn stories.
That's very much part of the. I don't want to say mythology.
What's the
but
Lauryn
belief
Hill
system.
lyric? A Muslim sleeping with a Jinn?
Yeah.
Wait, can you explain
yeah.
it for our listeners?
What are
Jinn
Jinns?
they're sort of
Demons?
some people put them in that category. They are both good and bad. They
Just
are
like humans.
But they're quite more. The story about that was that I believe it was King Solomon was given a jinn to. I can't remember the whole Bible story with it, but it's definitely some are good, some are bad. They are supposedly mostly in the Middle East. They're now over here now. They all have different
you guys
legends.
are stealing the sand and bringing it here.
Oh, I tried doing that in Dubai, but my sand bottle broke.
Well, they didn't want you to bring it.
They didn't want.
Just
that
to clarify,
stewardess didn't want me to bring it.
Just for the listeners, genie is actually derived from the
Right.
from the word jinn.
Genie in the bottle, yeah.
What if we had like a Bollywood Aladdin?
Yeah.
And then it could be a jinn instead of a
They're
genie.
not. That's like, yeah, Disney has sort of ruined everything.
Oh, I literally was gonna ask you, are
In
you
so many
pissed off
ways.
about Tinkerbell? Also, are you as mad as white men on the internet about Ghostbusters 2? Is that really?
No. None of these things affect my life.
Okay.
But
I mean, just like the perception. No, I'm just asking, like the perception and pop culture of the things that you study.
Oh, no, I'm not very, I'm sort of, I'm a little old for pop culture. The movie was kind of funny. I could have written a better one, but.
Oh, that's more offensive. You're like,
Shots fired.
But I enjoyed the movie. So but that's not real ghost.
see, when I watch a movie and there's bad science in it, I'm like, yeah, you ruined it. Like, I'm such a fucking nerd. Like, there's a part in, I loved Get Out. It was like an amazing movie. But there was one part where he mentioned that part of the brain wasn't neural tissue. And I was like, if you had just left that line out, it wouldn't have taken me out of the movie.
Right.
I was like, what, are you kidding me? Just don't do it. But when it's really good, like in not Gravity, but the other one with Matthew McConaughey.
I love that
came
one.
out.
Yeah.
What?
Interstellar?
Interstellar had Kip Thorne, who just won a Nobel Prize in physics, advise on it, and he like they actually took his advice, because half the time they don't fucking take your advice. They throw it out for like the pop culture thing that's more appealing.
Yeah.
So that's why that movie was dope for me, because I was like, this is like black holes and shit. That's like what it actually would be like.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if the same thing, if you're like, this isn't right.
No, because you know what, too? The paranormal community was made so much fun of for so long that they almost overcompensate with, I'm a skeptic too. I'm a skeptic too. And I'm always like, nope, I'm not a skeptic. But I do get nervous when people send me their photos, because they're usually never ghost photos, and they're always dust or like orbs or things that are not. So I will debunk.
Some people associate orbs with actual entities. Is that?
Well, there you have to know there's most of them are dust.
Yeah.
Okay, especially if they're symmetrical. They're kind of that's a little bit of a tricky thing.
Yeah.
Because I have seen orbs that I was convinced, and I have a tape of one.
What's an orb?
It's when you take a picture and there's a ball of light.
Okay.
But almost all of it is dust.
Yeah,
like it's
got it.
very rare that you'd probably get something else before you'd get. Okay.
Did you see that Twitter, the Dear David ghost story on Twitter? Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I wanted to talk about the Jinns, since that
go ahead.
affects
Yeah,
a lot of the South Asian community that's like grown up listening to these stories. So you said a Jinn can be good or bad.
Mm-hmm.
Are they actually ghosts? Like, how would you describe this entity?
No, ghosts are really someone that was human, that is on our level. These entities, when you're talking about all these other things, you can say interdimensional, but like they are
creatures.
Very different creatures. A Jinn, like the elementals I've talked to you about, those aren't really conscious. They know, I want that. They do not worry if it's yours or this or that. So they're different from us in their thinking like that.
Okay.
A Jinn is something that, much like a demon, it's ancient. It's been around forever.
Like an actual genie.
Yeah, they can.
Okay.
When someone really
Arabian
has something,
and Islamic mythology.
When something really it's very powerful. It's very powerful. That's why
So it could grant me wishes.
It could grant you wishes. And
can you wish for more Jinns?
Yeah, I know the basic. No, you can't. But
no, I mean Disney showed that there's a good genie and the evil genie Jafar.
Yes.
And why do you hate Disney so much for depicting Jinns this way?
that was they're fine. I was just kidding. They just have turned fairies like. Fairies are a very real thing that they kind of turned into. Now it's a joke. Like if I say to someone, well, I think there might be a fairy, it's like, oh my God, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Or
I guess there is like a hierarchy to like what people consider more serious in the spiritual, like fairies are people, or
That's why I just believe in everything. I think reality is subjective.
There's so
anyway.
much we don't know. It's ridiculous. I'll get back to animal communication with you because I have had experience. But these things, jumping around these things, these jinns, these demons, they really do. They can change things. They can. They can transform. That we can't.
They have powers.
They have powers.
They can take human form, from what I've heard from my
I've
family
heard that,
stories about.
Yes, they're shapeshifters.
Yeah. So that is very powerful to have to be interdimensional and be able to manifest into
They can
art.
attach to people, and I'm sure you've heard the legend of marrying a human to a jinn. Some people.
I've heard this.
They have them. Sometimes they have somebody marry like a doll or something first, and then marry their actual partner, so that like all of the evil or whatever resides within the doll. If they're trying to get rid of like the evil spirits for like the woman, because women are burdened with evil.
Which culture is this from?
I think this is in some form of like Hinduism in India somewhere. I saw this.
Okay.
I can't. And so they marry, and sometimes they'll marry like her to like a fruit or something.
Or a tree.
A tree. That's what it was.
A tree.
It was a tree, and then that would be the first husband because her first husband will be cursed, and then after that she'll marry like the person.
That part I don't know about, but I know that
this is all over the place.
It's taken very seriously. There was an actual artist that was working in Pakistan, and
of course,
all of a sudden, every morning, all the pots and pans in the kitchen, bang, 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 bang.
These are the stories I hear all the time.
And he was freaked out, and he went to the neighbor, and he said, "What is that?" And it was Ramadan, I think.
Yeah.
And someone said, "No, that's the good jinn. They're getting you up so that you'll eat. That he's worried you're not going to eat. So that would be a good jinn."
So there's
that's terrifying.
There's an element of choice there because they can choose. They have a choice as to how to live their life.
Right.
But because like I said earlier, it's very difficult for me to right now accept a physical flesh manifestation of a non-physical entity. I'm not ready for that.
Right.
Yet.
I'm with you on that. And I look for it.
Is there are there like slurs? Because when you said shapeshifter, I was like, ooh, is that like a negative thing? You know what I mean? Are there like slurs within the community?
You know what's the funniest thing? And this is true. Somebody once corrected me that they're not ghosts; they're earthbound spirits. They do not
indigenous people instead of like
jinn are earthbound spirits.
No, just ghosts. But jinn are a different thing.
So want to exist on Earth without a body, a physical body.
They don't have a physical body, but you may see one, and it's not going to look pretty.
Also, I bet they don't appreciate the term ghosting now because they probably have fewer commitment issues.
I know,
than people in our generation. They don't have commitment issues. That's why they're still here.
Yeah.
Zahra, what were you about to say?
I don't know.
It's sort of when you're talking interdimensional too. You're talking about something that, let's say, they're at this vibration. She's not at it. I'm not at it. You're at it. You're the one that will see it. Okay? That's why some people see them and some people don't. Some people have that vibration in the ear. That's why they hear them. So
Are we going back to the Laurel and Yanni movement again?
Yeah.
Okay.
Some ghosts say Laurel. I mean, some earthbound spirits say Laurel.
But animals.
It's all about the focus. If you're focused in one vibrational area,
and you can raise your vibration just like you raise your mood,
meditate.
And so my friend that's the animal communicator, we used to, we don't do this too much anymore. We used to find lost animals because she can see what the animal shows her, and with the tarot I can tell where they are or what is around them or are they hurt, this kind of thing. And we have had experiences where a pit bull escaped from a Halloween party wearing a pearl necklace and a tiara. And
so cute.
Yes. And we had the spot, and it was an exact spot. And the woman's like, I'm standing in that spot. The dog's not there. The dog's not there. 3 weeks later, the dog will show up in that spot. Pearl's still on. Tiara's still on.
Oh, wow.
Where you go, where did that dog go? Or a dog will run away. In Pennsylvania, had a sweater on, comes back, I don't know, a month later, sweater on, clean. So he would have had to been somewhere where someone took off the sweater, washed the sweater, and sent the dog back. Like, animals, especially dogs and cats, are here to help us. And if you know a good animal communicator, it'll blow your mind what your animal is telling you or why they're in your life.
That's cool.
Can we hang out, Karen?
Like, can we? I want to hang out because you're a great comedian. And you're like fun to be around. Can we do like a reading or something? Is that why you brought the reading?
Yeah.
I kind of want one just because I want to see. I know you want one really bad. Can we? I don't know how many how much time do we have?
We're at like an hour or something.
I mean, we can go a little longer, right?
Yeah.
How long does a reading take?
I can whip out for you, I'd rather take, here's two things. I'm going to do you off. You're going to get a reading
Fizaa.
anyways.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Fizaa. And then I want one of my cards.
Oh, I wanted to say I got tarot cards when I was a kid because I was like religious and I was like into all these things until I was about like 12, 13. And I bought tarot cards from this like Egyptian store at the mall that I used to go hang out at because it was super zen and chill and stuff. And then
you hit your scientific puberty.
No.
Such a poser.
No. I'm gonna cop to this one. I did the tarot reading for my dad. It said he would die. I put them in the basement and I never. And he didn't die. So,
but why? You probably had the wrong death card.
I probably didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
Right.
I was like
the
young.
actual death card is actually safe passage. And the death card, the card that it comes out and says death, is the card you want. It means the end of stagnation. It means energy is going to start moving.
So it's all a symbol.
It's all a symbol.
Interesting.
It's just a tool for communication.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So give me a.
There's no voice box. Oh, spirits don't have a voice box. They're doing this. We got to help them out a little bit, right? We got to give them something to talk
Sometimes
to us
they
with.
do on EVPs. Have you not been paying attention or taking them?
We might not be vibrating on that. Oh,
this wouldn't actually be ghosts. This would literally be.
This is like a reading of my life.
Are Ouija boards real?
Yes and no. The intention is real. I would not fool with them, though. They're a very low vibration.
What about light as a feather, stiff as a board?
That's why
I think that has a scientific.
That never worked at any of the sleepovers I went to.
So is that why with the Ouija board, if it's a low vibration, it attracts more demonic entities, lower vibration entities?
And people that don't know how to use it, and it's like running into a prison with the lights out, or running into a mall with the lights out going, hey, who wants to talk?
Yeah.
And you're going to get some good, some bad. You're going to get some. Ouija board's kind of a tricky one, too, because a lot of it is like for a long time there was this spirit named Zozo that everybody was getting Zozo and it's bad and it's a demonic thing. And actually what you find out is as this thing catches, as the planchette, gets going and gets some like sort of vibration to it, it just happens to go Z-O-Z-O. It wasn't Zozo. That's the movement, the natural movement on the board or something like that. So for you, I can give you, I don't want to give you a general read, though.
Yeah.
Read me.
I don't want to give you a general read, though. I want you to say, tell me something about my career, or tell me something about my science or my comedy, or give
what should
me...
What should we do?
Don't give me
career, love, family.
Well, this is your personal one, so this is what do you want to know about? Because that makes you more open if you actually have a curiosity.
I have a curiosity about my career. I think that's the most important thing right now.
I'm going to say
comedy career or science career?
I mean, they're both my career.
Okay.
Do I need to be more specific?
No, I'll do them both.
Okay.
The cards are being shuffled.
So exciting.
I know. I have to kind of tune in. So
is it going to tell Pallavi to stop being combative?
I love it.
Bitch, that makes for a good podcast.
I did not perceive you as combative.
I was really afraid I was going to be a bitch on this because it's like hard for me to be like, I don't believe you and not sound like a, you know what I mean? Like,
you got that out with us. We got all the verbal lashes.
Don't worry.
I'm just kidding.
We were expecting this one.
I know. I mean, we did this.
This is exciting.
That's why we did this.
I love diversity of thought. I love that you don't automatically believe in it. I love that.
I've seen ghosts. Okay.
I love that you do. And then I can relate to that. I just love diversity of belief and thought.
Right. Okay, so I started with your comedy career. Okay, and I always have two cards that show me the past. And what I'm seeing here is very, your expectations have already been like, kind of with your emotion, they've gone up and down, and I feel like they've not really matched where you are now. So your expectations before have changed. Right now, I have you in a really good period where I want to say things are moving quickly, very busy, and also what you're working on right now in your head, it's almost like not just finding what you want to do, but you're specializing in something. I'm reading comedy only now, okay? Something feels very good right now, but something is wrapping up. There's a big ending coming for you, and there's when I see this magician card, I actually think there's going to be somebody stepping in to help you. That would be like a manager.
Thank God.
But this is not the right person.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot of disappointment, and there's a lot of waiting, and there's a lot of I don't know if you're prone to depression, but it's kind of like, it was all there. So kind of this battle of expectation is what's going on with you. Hold on one second. There's this is off on another tangent. There's a family situation for you that is wrapping up, that is going to wrap up very nicely. Okay, so I don't know what's going on at home.
I don't know what it is either.
Okay.
Actually,
now I want to talk about what also is going to change in your comedy. Is there something? I know that you said you mix science and comedy, and that may be what you feel like is your brand. There's a change coming that is going to be much more organic, and it's not going to be forced. Okay?
Okay.
This comes through this disappointment and this waiting. Nobody is going to save you. So we're back to expectations. Okay? If you want to ask a more specific question.
oh, I was going to take a picture. Oh, well.
Oh,
It's okay.
okay. I can give you more, like if you want to say, if you have a specific question, I'll give you even more of a specific answer.
I guess, so I feel like that's kind of this is the skeptic
A general,
again.
yeah.
A general of like there is expectation and disappointment and people that come in and offers that come in that don't pan out. So I don't I guess is there something you said that there was something big that was going to happen. Is that going to be good or bad? You said it's like ramping up to something big.
I said the energy's moving very quickly around you right now.
Okay.
So there's a lot of movement. There's a lot of it's actually showing me how hard you work. And that is sort of starting.
I will take a compliment from
Yeah.
this world or other worlds.
How many times do we tell you?
Yeah.
Is this one for my school?
No, this is just me.
Oh.
So the
There's
cards are
you
being
guys,
laid out.
though. The podcast seems to have something going on here.
Oh, that's the three of us with
You
goblets.
will have your own podcast.
Huh?
You will have your own podcast.
I've already been working on one.
Okay.
That's also, I feel like, a general thing to tell any comedian.
Yes.
Well, what would you,
Just because.
but tell me what you think would be specific.
I don't know if like you can't do like time. This is like doctors. You can't tell them timelines or anything, right? Or like
I could try.
Okay, yeah.
What timelines for what?
My first like actual credit, TV credred.
There it
TV, Netflix, HBO, something.
MTV.
She's gonna say like 12 years,
Web
and I'm gonna be
series?
like, I give up.
No. I'm going to say, are you sure you want to know?
Huh?
Are you sure you want to know?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, time
Because
stuff
if
kind
it's
of
like
freaks me out.
soon,
hard.
if it's soon, then I believe it. And if it's not, then I don't.
But then again, we all have the ability to change our vibration and shift our reality. So
These
this
can
is just,
change at any point.
well, this is just reflective of what she's picking up from you right now
Right.
in this moment.
And if you
Okay.
were to call me for a reading, we would sit down for half an hour and go through everything.
Okay.
So we're sort of all over the place now. And
We have 3 other people in the room,
yeah.
so that's
Well,
gonna-
that, you know, that usually I read at parties and everything like that.
Oh, you do.
Yo,
Okay.
are there like male tarot card readers that can't bring women back to their hotel rooms for tarot card readings anymore? One-on-one.
Oh, I don't know.
Is there a Me Too movement
The tarot couch.
in the medium world?
What is this depression with you that keeps coming up?
Yeah, that's the thing that happens.
Okay.
I do have depression every few years. It's kind of happened more frequently in the last like 2 or 3 years.
There's a holistic
Since you
answer
started
to
comedy?
that.
Yep. No.
There's a holistic answer to that.
Holistic.
Holistic.
Okay.
Okay. In 5 years, I'm going to put it this way. I'm not going to say in 5 years you're going to be on TV. In 5 years, the process is ready. Okay. In other words, you have the people, you have the set, you have everything going. And this is for stand up only because I feel like something non stand up is definitely going to happen before this. This will be your late night set, your stand up together. It's almost like everything will start to gel in 5 years. Like, you know what I mean? When there's a package.
Yeah.
Okay. But that's stand up. There's something before then.
Okay. Can I hold on for 5 years, you guys?
Yes.
You
It's
can.
gonna
it.
fly
You
by.
will.
You're
Fucking
the
do
youngest
it.
out of all
You
of us.
will.
But I'm the
You'll
most
hold on.
dead inside.
Well,
no, I'm kidding.
No, you're not.
Okay, that's a timeline I can believe in.
that you can choose to believe in.
I can choose to believe
Yeah,
in.
there you go.
Yeah. I want to do one more thing though on you.
Okay.
And then I apologize if we didn't have time for you guys, but
Oh, I'll see you after.
yes, you will.
Yeah, I want to do one.
Yeah.
Later. Oh, silence.
So she's laying
I know.
Wait,
that's
do you
good
have
for
like
another
a do you have like a set of cards that you're like, these are my cards? Like, you know how
No.
people okay.
I have no superstition. And some people are like, you can't touch my cards. I'm like, please go ahead. The way these are cardboard, they're nothing more than cardboard. The way you're working hard, okay, and I'm talking about comedy, not science. I don't know about that. I'll look at that differently. Is going to change. I feel like you're working really hard, but you're not working smart. Okay. It's almost like there's an over verification instead of just going, fuck it, it's funny. Just this is me and I'm funny and I'm writing. There's something there, and I want you to start taking more risks and not have it so mainstream that it has to look like this. Don't be a brand. Let your brand be you.
Yes.
Okay.
This is for any comedian listening to.
No,
I'm
it's
kidding. I'm
not.
kidding.
But
This
you
is
know, see,
for
because
you.
it doesn't matter what I say, because you're going to say
No,
it.
I'm saying
Yeah.
that because like there's so many comedians that are doing the same thing. That was a joke on them.
Oh.
Well, it's something that I think, like, you know, a lot of people can relate to, but I think this specifically, like, was a message to be delivered to you in that moment.
Yeah. You, this is very strange, but don't take it too seriously.
Don't take comedy too seriously.
Don't take comedy too seriously.
Yeah.
Tell myself that,
Go
and I
live your
can't.
life. Go live your life.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I really want you to take a risk. Like, I want you to do the most unsafe thing on stage. And that may not be
I'm so
revealing
excited.
yourself. That might be do crowd work.
Yeah.
Go in and do something like that you haven't done. Do open with a new joke. Whatever it is that scares you, do that, because that's going to take sort of this. I mean, it is okay to be the scientist, but it's too. I don't want to say harsh. It's
with my
too
heart, not my mind.
calculated.
Too calculated.
Okay. Something is going to happen, or somebody's going to say something to you that you're going to go, oh yeah. And it may even hurt your feelings. It might be somebody making a comment or something that sort of falls along this same line, but it pushes you over the edge because you hear me right now, but you're going to change nothing until somebody says or does this, and it changes everything.
So this is actually like, I've been seeking this. I've been like trying to do more, like they know I go into the crowd and shit, but I've been trying to like force myself to do more of it because sometimes I'm like, I'm bored. So like
right.
that's like
She crawls on top of the bar.
I do kind
Did
of.
I miss that?
Yeah.
West Side. Yeah.
I crawled on. I was trying to get to it. I almost like walked all the way across the bar, but then I was like, I can't alienate this club right now.
She's scaring our audience members.
Jesus, I thought I was the weird one.
No. We're all weird.
Yeah.
But that is something that I'm seeking to do. So encouragement.
Right. Don't verify.
Okay.
That goes against your grain.
scientist.
No, but this is all shit that I've been thinking about is like, I want to take more risks. I want to do more stuff. And I do take it very seriously. And I like put a lot of pressure on myself. So
Yeah.
Let's do that.
I know. Are you doing the science one now?
Okay. I'll do
Or is
science.
that, I don't know if that's too much time.
Yeah, we can do a quick science one.
Okay.
Or, I mean, we have time.
All right.
Yeah. All right.
I mean, I do have to pee, but
Me too.
Oh, I just want to make sure my car's still back there.
Oh, it's back there. It's you parked behind the lot. Yeah.
Paul handed me a bottle, but it would have been funny if he opened his mouth. I have to pee.
Ooh.
Oh.
That's a new
I
one.
should have drank out of the
I used to say that to an ex when I was
I
like,
used to hold my hands out.
yeah,
Here you
I
go.
have to pee. Oh, open my mouth.
Okay.
He never did it though.
I will say I like the art on these cards.
Isn't it beautiful?
I like
very pretty.
Tarot cards are
Yeah.
very pretty.
I see justice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fucking finally. No, I'm kidding.
Okay, and I'm going to explain something else to you. All these swords are what you want for science because this is all thought. That is air. That is the element of air, the element of thought. But you somehow have in your science career, first of all, I want to say, not that there's no direction, but there is no finish line. And you're going to get more discriminating about that. And you're actually, for some reason, finances come into play. This is much later. But I want to say you've restricted yourself severely with control issues in this field, okay? You're happy where you're at now. This is all like fine, but you could really be doing I don't even know what else to say except you've restricted yourself. You've sort of gone to this level. There's limits. Everything is so logical that there's limits here that you have put on yourself that you are going to free and then come back to be restricted. Okay? Expect the unexpected in this career. Boy, if there was ever a career that nothing's unexpected. Expect to find the unexpected here in whatever is going on with this. But these 2 blindfolds show me that it's like you don't have the finish line. Okay.
My parents are not going to be happy to hear this about my PhD.
A moving target or something? Like she doesn't know where she's headed?
Well, comedy's your passion, I think.
Yeah.
Quite frankly.
It's also like PhDs are really fucking hard. Nobody knows what they're doing in their second year. So like,
right. But I mean,
I think PhD is more your hobby. I really, truly.
I think you're right.
I think it's something you're interested in.
I'm so sorry, my family.
I know you may not.
Do they actually listen?
I hope not.
You heard her. She's going to be on TV in 5 years. Blah.
Yeah,
Who
come
cares
on.
about
You
a
know-
PhD?
you know, comedy's
this
your priority.
restriction also, I mean, there's a family card up here, but this
Oh,
restriction is someone else's idea of you. It's not yours.
Oh, like I can do what I want, but I've been restricted by other people.
By what you were told you were supposed to do.
Oh,
You
wait.
should
So
do-
does that mean like what I was told to do within science, or because like as science?
You're going to
as
do a
scientist?
PhD in comedy.
Yeah.
There are people who do that. I've seen them study the science of laughter.
Yeah, there you go.
That's boring to me.
That is boring.
Wait, what is the finances thing you were talking about?
When the lover's card comes up, the lover's card means making discriminating decisions. There's something about money here, and this is family confusion. But you're going to start making better decisions about just how in your career money fits in. That could be whatever, school, grants, whatever, I don't know. But that's going to change, and it's going to be a mess.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
But she's going to be making money, but it's not going to be.
No, it's about money going out.
Oh.
See, that's
Like
why I
further
bought.
down the line, she said.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's why I bought angel oracle cards, because I was like, I don't want bad news. Just let's keep it
Well,
positive.
it's
Let's keep
supposed
it
to be
light.
helpful. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
Like this part
This
right
can
here.
shift, you guys. This can shift.
It can shift, but right here, what I'm telling you is, you know, not that you're not great at science and you don't work hard, but I really don't know that that's where your heart is at.
Yeah, and that's
You don't
Heart
love
is in
it.
comedy.
It's so obvious.
Duh.
I mean, but this is from a
This
little
is not
girl.
surprising for anyone.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that you're surprised.
Yeah, why are you surprised?
I'm not surprised. I'm just saying, shut up. My family might be listening to this.
I
No,
don't
I'm
think
not
they're surprised.
I think it's obvious that I'm like really drawn to comedy, and I do think that my school has suffered because of the time and effort I put into comedy.
Yeah.
But that was a conscious decision I made to be
I
happy.
mean, they already know you're doing masturbation jokes online.
Yeah, they know.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Yeah. That's I've been putting a lot out there on my Facebook and my Twitter.
Yeah,
My
do
poor
your thing.
parents.
Do your thing.
Okay. I think we're good on this, right? Thank you for
Right.
giving me your
incredible.
services. It's
That was
tough to, I think that
wonderful.
the thing about it is that like even if I it's like shifting, or if I don't believe that it's like set in stone or whatever, like those are all good topics for me to think about anyways. They're like, it's like reflection on your own life.
My
Yeah.
motto growing up was like as a 5-year-old was like question everything.
Yeah. That was also mine.
Yeah.
And look at who we turned out to be.
Not
A bunch
scientists.
of anarchists
Well,
in
you're
Chinatown.
Different.
That's what we
I
all
mean,
do.
different perspectives. Yeah. Okay. Do we want to do the Daisy questions real quick?
Yeah, let's do that real quick. So Desi means South Asian, like Indian, Pakistani, Sri Lankan, brown people, basically. Brown people that aren't Latin.
Okay.
So the question is, who's your favorite Desi celebrity? Celebrity of Indian descent or South Asian descent?
Okay. Well, this is way out. And I don't have his name, but I
no worries.
just was doing some
I'll
research for my
Google it.
podcast. There, Google he's Middle Eastern. I believe he's Jewish, though. He is a reporter for Anonymous. Do you know the group
Reporter for
Anonymous?
Yeah.
Anonymous
And-
hacking.
and
group?
he just did. I just watched the dark web. He did a documentary on the dark web, and he's gorgeous.
Is that why he's your
He's
favorite?
gorgeous. Well, he's brilliant. He went. I'm doing
Karen's
research.
down with the brown.
Yeah, I'm doing research. Well, I have a big thing for Jewish men. Period.
Yeah.
But I'm,
Is it mutual? Do they have a big thing for you?
sometimes?
Okay.
Yeah. You know what? The last 5 years of my life have been so busy. I don't even know what's going on. But yes, actually, they do. Now
Okay.
that I think about it, my last 3 boyfriends. But
You have a type. We got it.
Yeah. I do on my podcast, Paranormal Karen, there are a couple of them that I do on my own that I do a lot of research for. And the first one I'm doing right now is on the dark web, which was why I found it interesting that the name of your podcast, because did you know there's programs that are doing that facial recognition all the time.
Oh yeah, Facebook does that.
Google probably does that
all the time.
They step outside.
Is it Basim Youssef?
I think it is. Let me say. No.
Oh.
No, that's
also a handsome
that's
man.
a comedian.
Yeah, I know, but I was looking up the documentary thing and I couldn't find it.
I'll find it. All the creepy stuff comes up on my phone.
While you're finding it, do you have any questions for us that may sound stupid or you might feel self-conscious about, but that is about South Asian culture? Because this is a safe space for education.
Yeah, any dumb questions are
No
not
questions dumb, yeah.
Not dumb in this space. Yeah.
I don't know if I have any dumb questions.
Or good questions.
Yeah. Or do you have any, South Asian American friends that like do weird things that you just want to understand better? Any rumors you want to dispel?
Not
Brian Knappenberger? Hold on, I have to look at the picture. Go ahead.
Yeah, we might just have to include it in the description.
Yeah,
we have to do this separate research.
I can't think of any.
Set out separate times to figure that out.
You know who else I like though?
Who?
Is that comedian that was on the Daily Show?
Oh, Hassan Minaj.
Yes, very handsome.
He's pretty.
Nope, wrong guy. I'm going to find him right now.
I want to know now. Okay.
Yeah.
Dark web.
Are there Desi people or South Asian American people that are mediums or mediums
that's a
that
great
you know
question.
of?
Always.
Oh, there
Everything.
are? Really?
Yeah, there's very
Always.
Yes, and in fact, I know people that deal in Santeria and pardon the sound, everyone. It's definitely not a not everyone has it. It's almost like when you research tarot, there's a Jewish tarot deck, there's a Gypsy tarot deck. They are found throughout time. Everyone has one. They can tell you they don't, they do. Mormons believe in mystics.
Yeah. There's a mysticism sort of sect in a lot of these organized religions.
Yeah. Like in Islam, like a lot of the Sufis believe in mysticism. And
I was just listening to something on Sufism. It's fascinating.
I like the music, actually.
So this is the documentary, and hang on, I'll show you the guy. Let's put him in the beginning. But I don't want to show you there's some real horrific stuff on the dark web, so I don't want to. There's some pictures I don't think you need to see.
Yeah, I don't want to see.
Is it that guy? He's
nope.
cute.
Nope. No,
we're
not
looking
that
it up
guy.
right
Is it the bearded fellow?
No, but he has a beard. He has a nice dirty beard like I like.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Oh, we're learning so much about Karen.
Scruff.
I do. I like the
Dirty
Wait,
beard.
that's
Jewish.
him. Wait a
Are
minute.
you in
Let's
a
get
relationship right now?
I am not.
Oh, he is.
But wait, we
handsome.
gotta-
Fine. Who dat?
That's just his eyes, though. Wait till you
Yeah, but
see
his eyes
mouth
fine,
is
though.
beautiful. It was very distracting
So we don't know his name yet?
when I was trying to watch this. This
That
is him.
guy. What's his
All right.
name?
Oh my God, he's so fine. Anonymous down the deep dark.
Anonymous would be the
Documentary?
no. Anonymous is the
group, yeah. What's the documentary called?
down the deep dark web.
Oh, gotcha.
He is pretty.
Okay, shout out to that dude.
Yeah.
Nice lashes.
Oh,
yep.
man.
Very nice lashes.
I can't even
Yeah,
see the
look at him
picture.
with
I'm
his
just talking.
glasses.
He's
Wait.
got the nice eyebrow
Here's his
arch going
Here's
on.
his science look. Wait a minute.
Like he's an Indian dude. He has good. His hair stuff's. on
Okay, I
point.
feel like we're not gonna find the name fast enough.
Yeah, I know.
But
There he is.
everybody. Oh,
He's
fine.
pretty. He is pretty.
Okay,
Look at
so
them glasses.
everybody look up Anonymous down the deep dark web, and if you find a fine man on there, that's who we're talking about.
But don't watch
Yeah.
it because there's a lot of well, you can watch it, but
Trigger
skip
warning.
the first 10 minutes because
Trigger
there's
warning.
a lot of what goes on there, and it's not good.
Okay,
So
It's
Karen,
my darker side.
can we? Where can we find you on the internet?
Oh, KarenRontowski.com or ParanormalKaren.com. Paranormal Karen is my web series on YouTube, which is 1 Minute and Funny. Paranormal Karen is my podcast, and that is all paranormal, spooky things. Demonologists, medium. Michelle Belanger is on this week, and then sometimes I do it alone, and I do it on the deep dark web.
Awesome.
damn.
Oh my
And by the
goodness.
way, I thought you were lovely. I would come back anytime.
Okay, good.
I was not
Thank you.
offended
You are lovely.
or
Thanks. I just get self-conscious because I'm like, this is a thing I
oh
strongly
no,
believe.
I've been attacked. I've been attacked.
Wow.
I'd come back anytime with you.
Oh, yay.
Well, we would love
And
to
next
have you
time,
back.
I would know what to bring for studies and names and stuff like that. if you want
Honestly,
to get
just
that
email
sciencey.
me stuff. I'll read it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Cool. Well, this has been the Facial Recognition Comedy Podcast. I'm Fizaa Dasani. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Fizaa Dasani. I'll spell it FIZAADOSANI and FizaaDasani.com.
And this was Zahra Ali. You could find me on Zahra Ali Live on all the socials. Zahra is spelled Zahra.
I'm Pallavi Ganalan. That's stop laughing every time it's my name. I can't help it. Vegan. Thanks, Mom and Dad. Okay, it's PALLAVIGUNALAN. That's my website, my Instagram, my Twitter, my Facebook. And
You guys got that?
They will have
You
to
got that?
rewind, okay? Because they're smart people. Our
Millennials.
demographic is smart.
Just Google. Just find us online.
And then also
socials.
our facial recognition stuff is at Facial Recognition Comedy on Facebook and Instagram and at Facial Rec Comedy on Twitter. We have a show the second Sunday of every month at Westside at 9 p.m. And we hope you come to it. Thank you for being here, Karen.
Thanks, you guys.
Karen.
Yay.
Bye, guys.